On September 23, 1947, the vote for women was secured in Argentina. During the campaign, women from all over the country rallied for their feminist leader, Eva Perón. Though she died young, Eva Perón's legacy, though controversial, would trickle down to every portion of the Argentine population. Eva Maria Duarte was born on May 7, 1919, in the quiet town of Los Toldos, a province of Buenos Aires. She was the youngest of 5 children born to conservative parents Juana Ibargüen and Juan Duarte. At the time, the Radical Party of Argentina was gaining momentum. When the radicals finally won out over the brutal campaign, all conservatives in government positions were replaced. Eva's father lost his job. For most of her childhood, all Eva knew was suffering. But a new turn of events was about to unfold. On January 8, 1926, Juan Duarte was killed in a car crash. The funeral was held a few days later. Eva was devastated, and now her family was in an even worse position. But she would overcome. Despite this setback, Eva peacefully started school when she was 8 years old. Her childhood was spent in contact with nature, climbing trees, raising silkworms, playing hide-and-seek, hopscotch and tag, wearing homemade costumes which replaced store-bought toys and made her into whatever she wanted to be. After attending 1st and 2nd grade in Los Todos, Juana Duarte moved the family to Junin. It was here that Eva would realize her real passion, acting. Eva Duarte left school early at age 16 to become an actress. In the following years, she would act simultaneously in theater, in the movies, and on the radio. Eva Duarte had officially reached stardom when, in January 1944, an earthquake ruined 90% of San Juan.
The city of San Juan suffers one of the worst earthquakes in South American history. Populated by 80,000 people, it was totally destroyed in 40 seconds. The death roll was very heavy. Over 2,000 bodies were recovered, and hundreds more were found daily.
Juan Perón, the man in charge of the Secretariat of Labor and Social Welfare, organized a national relief effort and invited the most popular stars of the day to participate. Eva Duarte was among them and helped to take up collections for the needy. It would be here that Juan Perón and Eva Duarte would meet, beginning a lifetime of achievements. Eva Duarte and Perón would marry on October 21, 1945. In the following years, Perón would begin his campaign for the presidency. Eva would be by his side the entire time, helping to gain support and followers, while her own internal ambitions slowly started to grow. Perón won the race in 1946. Now in office, Eva finally had the option to enact her growing ambition and ideas. One of Eva's priorities was establishing numerous foundations. She supervised programs to eradicate some of the most crippling diseases, including tuberculosis. She was also chosen president of the Agrupación Radial Argentina, a union entity which she had founded in 1943. Eva would also become the de facto Minister of Health and Labor, awarding generous wage increases to the unions, who responded with political support for Perón. However, one of the most famous foundations she set up was her own namesake, the Eva Perón Foundation. The foundation, which she instated after cutting off government subsidies to this aid society, came into being on June 19, 1948. Also known in Spanish as the Fundación Eva Perón, Eva was able to affect the lives of millions through this program. The program was created to bridge the gaps in the national safety net, and the support gathered from the foundations were used to establish, among many other things, thousands of hospitals, schools, orphanages, homes for the aged, and other charitable institutions. For the first time, there was no inequality in Argentine healthcare. Along with the multitude of people she helped through this foundation, possibly one of the most impressive accomplishments of young Eva is bringing the right to vote for the women of Argentina. On August 21, 1946, the Senate approved the project which would give women the vote. Eva went to the Chamber of Deputies to meet with the leaders of the Peronista bloc. Their objective, women's right to vote. She would return to the chamber in the following days to talk to the legislators of the Peronista Party. The campaign had begun. Beginning on January 27, 1947, every Wednesday at 9 p.m., she broadcasted a message from the residents to all women, urging them to join her in the struggle for their rights. When asked about her feminist beliefs, Eva said everything. Absolutely everything in our contemporary world has been tailored to the measure of men. We are absent from governments. We are absent from parliaments, from international organizations. We are neither in the Vatican nor the Kremlin. We are not part of the upper echelons of the imperialist countries. We are not in the atomic energy commissions, nor in the multinational corporations, nor in Freemasonry, nor in any secret societies. We are not in any of the great power centers of the world. Eva went on tour in June 1947, and when she arrived in Madrid, said, "This century will not go down in history as the century of world wars, nor even as the century of atomic disintegration, but much rather as the century of victorious feminism." After securing the right for women to vote and to work in government offices as well, Eva was on to her next ambitious goal, establishing the Partido Peronista Femenino. By 1951, the party had 500,000 members and 3,600 headquarters across the country. But after establishing this new party, the unthinkable happened. Eva was diagnosed with cancer in 1951. Eva's later life, though she was only 33, would be filled with much action. As the cancer devoured her feeble body, Eva still continued her feminist efforts. In the presidential election of 1951, she obtained the nomination for vice president, but the army forced her to withdraw her candidacy due to the cancer. At the time, she weighed only 79 pounds. At her last public appearance, the cancer had taken over her entire body. Eva Maria Duarte Perón died on July 26, 1952. The funeral was held soon after her death. Millions of people attended. For the next decade, her legacy would be torn apart by the controversial views surrounding her life. The revolution would begin in a few short days, and with it, Eva Perón's buildings and works were destroyed. Thousands of bottles of blood were smashed in blood banks all over the country because the seals on the bottles said Foundation Eva Perón. Thousands of sheets were burned because it was too much work to cut out the offensive words Foundation Eva Perón. Children died in polio epidemics because the iron lungs, imported from the United States, were locked away or destroyed. How could they be used when each had a small metal plate which said Foundation Eva Perón? As Eva's popularity and power grew, so did criticism from the opposition and in some cases from certain sectors of Peronism. They attacked from different angles: activities inappropriate for a First Lady, undistilled resentment, dangerous influence on Perón, uncontrolled ambition for power. Under the surface, but not too far under, was the criticism not of what was being done, or how it was being done, or why it was being done, but that it was being done by a woman. Ironically, the one thing Eva fought for in her life was the one thing restricting her from public respect: women's rights. But despite the anger, there was an influx of positive memories surrounding Eva's life. She was monumental in changing the lives of women, the poor, and the children. In some places, her legacy can still be felt, pulsing deep through the veins of people who lived under her, and the children and grandchildren they raised. Argentina was forever changed by the First Lady, Eva Maria Duarte Perón.